Mic test. Oh, there you go. I've been talking all this time and just realized you can't hear me. Can you hear me now, though? Are you able to hear me now? Hmm. Right. Well, just to answer your question, I've been yapping and then all this time, and turned out you didn't hear me. It's embarrassing. But yeah, I was just saying that I wasn't really affected that much with the lockdown because we were already home people. We didn't really go out much, even before the lockdown. So we just stayed home. Really, I didn't even know there was a lockdown, and I remember when I realized it was when I went to a Jollibee, a local restaurant here in the Philippines, and they didn't let me in because there was a lockdown. I mean, I knew there was a lockdown, but it's kind of different when you just hear it in the news and then you experience it for yourself. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, this won't be a big deal, and it turned out that it was. So we really didn't do much back then, and I didn't have a son back then too. So we were pretty much chill, and excuse me. And back in the day, we used to live in this tiny apartment. It was this room that I'm in right now was is much bigger than the apartment I used to live in. Me and my girlfriend. Um, but it was good enough for both of us. We just stayed at home all day, watch videos, things like that. Eat all day, DoorDash or Food Panda if you're from Asia. Yeah, but those were the days, man. Even though there was hard living in the apartment, it was there were good times. And we had to move from there because we were about to have a kid, and there was no way I was gonna raise him in that house, tiny ass apartment. We needed some leg space for him to run around. Yeah, man, that was the lockdown for me. What about you? What were you doing during the lockdown? Nothing nefarious, I hope. Yeah, well, during those times, I was at the point in my life where I got really tired of just going out all the time. Because when I was younger, I used to just head out all week, even if it's not the weekend. I would drink with my friends. I would, I would just be a mess. I was a mess. Okay, I wasn't always this mature. Probably I still am not. Maybe I don't know. You be the judge. But yeah, when I was single, when you're single, you do some single stuff. You go out, you hang out, you drink a few beers, you mess around a little bit, get into fights. Nah, I didn't get into fights. I was a good boy. I'll tell you, nothing, bro. I was seventh grade, but in lockdown, I was on Facebook the entire time, having yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine for artists that the lockdown would have been like a non-factor. It just means more time for us to do something creative with the quietness, right? I'll tell you a kind of sad story though that happened to me when I was young. Yeah. And this happened to me back in 2000, I would say 2012 or 2013. Let's say 2012 because that was the end of my career in this company called 24/7 customer service. They named their company 24/7. I don't know if they're open, but yeah, it was a good company to work with. I thoroughly enjoyed it there. Nice office, nice equipment. But I ended my career there. I quit because I was just a bit tired and I wanted to do something else besides the call center. It was a call center, and it was a call center company. And yeah, I remember that was 2012, right after I quit there. Um, I think that was the start of when I truly became independent. I want to say a man because you killed the. It was the day that I killed the boy in me. If that makes sense, right? That kind of like traditional manly manhood stuff. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, that's when I really grew up because that's when I left home back in 2013. I got kicked out by my uncle, and I was homeless for a very long time back then. And when you're homeless in the Philippines, you kind of have to figure stuff out for yourself. I mean, that would have been obvious. Just where you're gonna find food. I had some money saved up, but that quickly became, that quickly diminished. I got scammed a few times, stuff like that. Um, and I remember just hustling my old company. Well, I didn't hustle them. Okay, I in my old company, the one I just left. There were places called the sleeping quarters, and they were really nice places, air conditioned, and you get provide you they provide you with a nice bed and also a nice blanket when you get in there. But of course, only employees could get into those places, right? And I wasn't an employee anymore, but I still have my ID. I didn't surrender my ID. It just doesn't work in my old office, but it worked on the sleeping quarters for some reason. So I would pretend that I was still working there, and I would just avoid the floor where people knew me, and I would sleep and hide on the blanket on my sleeping quarters, and nobody would know me I was there. And because I knew the schedules of my old friends there, I would stay well beyond their shifts, so nobody would realize me. Like um, hogging their sleeping quarters when I was no longer an employee. That was really funny. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, well, I actually got crazier, but I don't know if I'm going to tell the story just yet. It's a crazy. Those days were very crazy, man. It was just insane. And I looking at them now, I can't believe I did all those things. And every time people say that they're poor, they can't do stuff, I would just refer back to my homeless self. I was young and kind of reckless back in the day, and if I could get myself out of that situation, anybody can. Uh, you know, because the way I did it, the way I got out of homelessness was I just got sick of being homeless one day. I remember specifically the day. Well, I don't remember this day. Okay, I remember what happened was I got really sick of being homeless. I was in a 7-Eleven and I was looking at the television. There's a television in the 7-Eleven, and I looked at my friend and I told her that okay, we're never gonna be hungry again. Okay, one day we're never gonna be hungry again. Because I was just so sick of being hungry all the time, eating soup and free soup from a store. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get us out of here, of this situation. And if I could do it, a naive kid from the province could do it. Nobody has an excuse. Okay, I got two hands. Unless you're like disabled, you know. I got two hands. I got two eyes, ears, same as everybody. I'm nothing special. Yeah. And once I actually got a job, I I, I got a job again on a call center, another call center, because it was the only thing that I knew at the time. Um, I He would expect me to get myself out of like this situation, right? This horrible starving situation, but no, I was too stupid. Again, young and stupid. What I did instead was party all night. So every time I would get my salary, I would just drink. I would just go all out. I would go party. I would um treat all my friends, and I couldn't save money. In fact, I got into debt, like crippling debt, because of it. Because I wanted to just have a good time, after all that shit. And it took me another year, not a year, maybe close to a year. Let's say 8 months. I don't specifically remember how long I was like that before I actually got my own place. Um, it was a bed spacer. If you're not familiar with what a bed spacer is, it's basically a room, and then you get a space in a room that's just to yourself, like a bed, and that's your bed, and this is some other guy's bed right next to you. You know, it's kind of like that. So I at least I had somewhere to sleep. So that was my first place, and it was a nice place too. It wasn't like this rinky dink kind of um place. It was a nice place, air conditioned, on a high rise building, and it was very clean, very posh. Um, but the catch was that you got to share it with some other cunts, you know. Man, I'm scared to live your life, but bro, partying all night is crazy good. Thing I'm an introvert and hate parties and drinking. Actually, I'm an introvert too. The reason why I like to party, believe it or not, was because I was trying to impress a girl. Again, young and stupid. I know, man. Come on. I think this leg is too long. Her butt should be here, and then leg here. Okay, it's too long. Yeah, I was trying to impress a girl back in the day, and that didn't work. Of course, it didn't. I mean, why would that work? Um, well, also part of it, outside of trying to impress a girl, was also self-indulging, because I didn't even, before that time, I didn't hold money that big, because I was earning a lot of money um when I was in the call center. Well, relatively big, right? For a kid, it was already big, but looking back at it now, it wasn't that much. How did you meet your wife? It was a I already knew her for a while before I actually got her number, because she worked on a as a waitress in a nearby restaurant that I pass by this restaurant almost every day when I go home, and I regularly go there because their food was really good. Way before I knew her, I was already a regular in that restaurant. Um, so I would take all my friends to this restaurant, and my friends had some problems with their love life, and she would listen, and she would chime in sometimes, and yeah, we just kind of, my friend group just kind of knew about her. And then one day I got really really drunk, and I took part in like the most debauched activity that I ever did in my entire life. I mean, it was so bad, okay? And then I had a moment of reflection while I was walking home, and like, okay, I'm done with this life, I'm done with this. I'm done with this womanizing and just playing around. It's too tiring, I'm getting old and shit. It's not healthy for my body, and it's also not healthy for my wallet, because clubbing is kind of expensive. And I got so sick of what I did. It wasn't anything criminal. Okay, it was just disgusting. I'll tell that story another day. Um, but I was walking home, and we're just reflecting on myself, right? And when I got to her restaurant, I saw her cutting. Um, I don't know what you call it in English. It's called limoncito in my country. It's like a small lemon. It's tiny, this tiny lemon, and they're really nice when you put them on sauces. So because she worked in a restaurant and she had to make these sauces, she had to cut these tiny lemons, and she was outside while she was doing that, and I was doing some self-reflecting, and I was like, okay, it's time to get serious. And then I got her number that night, and then I asked her out the next day. Actually, I asked her out that day when I got home. I texted her and I was like, "Oh, you want to go out sometime next week?" And yeah, the rest was history. Well, there's a bit more in this to the story, but I don't know. Should I tell? Maybe I'll tell it another time. Okay, but that's how I met my wife. Well, let me know if you want to know more. I'm not really a closed off person. Yeah, but she's not really my wife yet. I just call her my wife because I kind of already treat her that way anyway. Um, but she's a pretty traditional kind of woman. She cooks for us, really grateful to have her as my partner. I mean, a man can't ask for a better companion. I'm so lucky. And life is lifing sometimes. Well, life is kind of it's duplicitous. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. No matter how good you are, no matter what politics or religion you follow, life is always going to be good and bad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And once you accept that bad things will happen sometimes, things get a little bit easier. Just when bad things are happening, in the back of my head, I just think, oh, okay, this means like good times are coming too. So what you got to do, there's some little bit of life advice here, is the best thing you can do is just to prepare for the bad times. Similarly, you also got to prepare for the good times, because good times, you're going to realize when they're happening. You don't take it for granted. And some people can't really handle the good times. They win the lottery, and then they just spend it all. They're not ready for that yet. They get into debt. They gamble. I know somebody who did that, and pisses me off every time I think about it. Won millions of dollars, and then less than a year lost it all, and then had debt too. Debt. So yeah, you got to be ready for the bad times. I just realized that the bad times never last, and you also got to be ready for the good times. So when the good time comes, you make it last. You're ready for it. This kind of looks like a man's finger, right? I gotta make it a little bit thinner, a bit more expressive, like that. I'm glad you're happy, bro. I'm very happy. I am very happy. I couldn't be happier. You know what's funny is I got some family members who I get the vibes that they don't like me being happy. Just the way that they check up on me. Sometimes it's a bit on the nose. Oh, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay financially? Well, that's oddly specific. It's like they're waiting for me to say, "Oh, I'm not okay." But that's just my assumption. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. It just feels that way, you know. That's a bit better. I need to make this a little bit smaller here, like this, and maybe a little bit of compromise by making the entire thing bigger. Okay, it's better. Hmm. You know what's funny is whenever I stream randomly like this, I end up streaming a lot longer than my planned stream. This keeps happening, you know, out of my control. Mm. Oh, it's sleepy. Okay, let's move on to a different page. I'm gonna add more kids here. We have a fat kid in a kimono doing like an airplane. They're like playing in the streets, right? Something like that. Let's give her a wacky hairstyle. Mm, it's in different planes, so it should be a little bit smaller. There we go. Let's add one more here, right behind. It's running here. V is bold. Okay, I like that. And I guess that's it. There's one, two, three, four, five kids. Oh, forgot that head here. There you go. One, two, three, four. I should add two more. Maybe just the legs. Indicate there's a guy there. And maybe a head. Whatever. That's fine. Ugh. Okay. I want to focus on these panels here because they're kind of big, involving like multiple characters, while the rest of these are pretty basic, right? They're pretty basic panels with just one or two characters. So this is like the origin. Well, not really the origin story, but it's a flashback. It was supposed to be a flashback of my original character Hikari, but it ended up being a new story on its own. And I'm thinking that I should start here first rather than the pages that I've already done, because this looks like a very solid start to explain everything and what's going on. Because I was thinking of doing these pages through flashbacks, um, but I think I would do a disservice to the story and to the emotional impact that I can give my audience, my readers, when I actually just tell her story on how she was found and how she and Aki, her brother, became brothers, and they're not really blood related. But yeah, so let me just show you the new pages because I made new pages. There's only like 7 of them, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, there's 7 of them. Wait, give me a sec. What if I do this? Nope. This. One moment, yeah. So this is the new page. This is her origin. There's gonna be a page between this and this because I feel like it's lacking still. Um, it's kind of random. So what I plan to do is remove these three panels, and then replace it with um these panels here. These two panels here. Okay. Oh, we can't see it. Wait, hold on. Um, how am I gonna do this? Well, anyway, I'm gonna replace these two panels here, these three panels here, and then add new panels here in its place, and then move these three to a different page, and then add just a top panel. So it's gonna be split into two, right? Then next page is she's found, she can't speak here. She kind of learns how to talk alongside with Aki, this kid, which is the second protagonist. I have a duotagonist. Is that what it's called? Duotagonist. Where there's two. It's kind of like Full Metal Alchemist, right? There's two antagonists there, with Eldrick being the older brother and then Alphonse being the younger brother. But they're not really blood related because she just gets found in the middle of the forest with like heavy injuries, and she wakes up. But she kind of accumulates with their village, with Inahikari village. She's named after the village. So yeah, and she kind of just displays like her some of her strength here. She lifts a cargo thing like effortlessly, and over here there's like this undertone where she just healed her all of her wounds, right? So she has regeneration abilities, super healing. What's it called in Marvel? A healing factor. So she has a healing factor and also super strength. And there's also some power system on her bands. These black bands on her arms and her legs. They're supposed to be seals, which I feel like I need to explain here as well. Maybe in a later page, but they're supposed to be seals. There's something underneath her arms and legs that's sealed away, so she can't use it. Or she uses a little bit of it by lifting this thing and having a healing factor. But there's supposed to be a page between this and this, where the old guy here explains that when he was trying to bandage her up because of her wounds, that she couldn't get the bands off her legs and her arms. Um, and he notices some seals, some symbols, and that's gonna be alluding to my power system a little later. Yeah. So I like this to be my chapter one because it explains a lot, and also the ending of the chapter also resolves a lot of problems. And that was the main problem with my original chapter one, was I just picked up on the middle of the story, and I was just trying to make up time for me to explain everything else that's going on in the world. Whether we're here, I'm slowly trying to unravel that without rushing things like I was doing, right? Because I was having a lot of problems placing where to explain what. My power system, where I'm gonna explain this, and it felt like I was shoehorning the explanation in the middle of something that didn't feel natural. While here we have her, she has no memory, and so she has to relearn things, and things has to be explained to her. Does that make sense? And she kind of acts like the audience, where we don't know anything at all, and everything has to be explained to her. Well, not everything, some things some things you don't have to explain and just show it instead. But something more complex, like a power system, for example, or maybe like the political undertone of like the regions, things like that. I think those needs to be properly explained on like expositions and more detailed graphics. So I kind of learned that on when I was trying to compete on Kudakawa's manga world manga competition. And I wish I learned these things when I was just starting out, because now I gotta restart again, right? But it's not that those pages that I did for my original chapter 1 and 2 and 3, by the way, I made like 4 chapters um for my original story already. It's not that those stories are now relevant and I am going to get rid of those drawings. I'm just moving those chapters to a later chapter. Instead, I'm starting over from scratch, so that when I get to that storyline, I don't have to redraw them again, because it's already there. I just need to edit it a little bit to fit the current um the current tone of the story now. But for the most part, it's still the same. They're still gonna go there. All those things are still gonna happen. If that makes sense, right? If you've been following me, this would make sense, right? How many hours does it take for you to create one page? I actually don't know because I haven't. Well, I do know it's around 3 hours, maybe 2 hours if I was really trying. Um, but the reason why I can't tell you a specific times because I never really draw one page. Instead, I'm kind of doing what I'm doing now. I jump around page by page because these are pages, right? These columns are pages, so I kind of just jump around. So I never really counted how long they take. Even with my speed paints on my video on YouTube, they don't really represent an accurate um, count on how many hours I did them, because when you're recording something, it kind of slows you down. Because I got hit record, or did I hit record? Or is the thing is my canvas working okay? You gotta account for like all the things that slows you down as well when you're recording. Um, but I'd say a good 2 or 3 hours. That's a fair amount of drawing time. And yeah, these 3 pages are. I'm not doing these anymore because my client told me that I'll be getting paid next week. So I got like 2 weeks of extra time. So I may just relegate these 3 extra pages next week. So I'm just working on my own projects at the moment, which is these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Right? Hopefully that answers your question. Excuse me, sorry. So yeah, let's get back to the drawing. I keep yapping. So these are kind of like flashbacks of what happened to her. And just talk about my character here, Hikari. She has amnesia when we pick up on her story. Actually, give me a sec, right? Hold on. So she has amnesia when we pick up on the story, but I'm thinking, but she remembers a little bit, right? She remembers these events, just flashbacks. Again, she has a healing power, so healing factor, so she's not really affected by these spears. And she murders a bunch of soldiers here. And this woman will remain a mystery for now. Um, but yeah, she's a bit of a sadist. She's a sadist. Um, Masochist. What is it called when you like feeling pain, right? She kind of has that craziness to her. And there's a reason for that. Say that it's not. She's not that way just for the sake of being cool. But there's a story behind it, which I'll get to way later on, right? Not even here. Amodaro, Amador. Welcome, man. Hello, or girl, woman, whatever. I think man is like a universal thing, right? When you're just using it as like a hey. But yeah, welcome to the stream, buddy. Just drawing my thing here. Feet. You know, I'll give him some boots. Zane, hey man, welcome to the stream, buddy. So this guy's lying down. We won't be able to see his head. So maybe I'll just erase this. Head is indicated. I don't know. I'm just rushing this part because this panel is really tiny, and this drawing will be quite inconsequential. Well, it's not inconsequential. I shouldn't say that. It's still very important. It's not just as important as the rest of the, or like the big picture stuff, you know? How you all doing? Doing all right? A pretty slow week for me, so I'm doing more streams than normal. So we can't see what you're drawing. Oh no, you know what? You're right. I totally forgot to switch back to my other camera. Hold on. All right, there it is. Sorry, guys. So unprofessional. And you call me a streamer? All right, all right. You should be able to see my stuff now. Yeah, we removed the page we were showing. Yeah, I realized. I just realized it. Where are you from? I am from the Philippines, buddy. Good old Filipinas. What are you? Where are you from? Actually, where's everybody from? I'm pretty sure I have an international audience here. Since I'm speaking English, normally people, barely anybody from my country watches. Except for my friends, maybe. Filipinos are amazing. Are we though? uh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Filipinos are really proud. You know, can't take a joke sometimes. South Africa? Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. From Pakistan. Hey man, dude, it's so far away from my country. I didn't expect people from, all the way from Pakistan and South Africa to be watching. I thought like everybody's gonna be from Southeast Asia, maybe China, places like that. Hey, shout out to Pakistan and South Africa, yeah. You have Filipino friends. Their English is just mind blowing. Yeah, we get that a lot. It's because we have that as our second language and it's taught in every school, it's kind of hard not to speak English if you're Filipino, because everybody does it. Even the ones who claim they can't speak English, they secretly do. Okay, they just don't want to speak English. But I have not met a single Filipino who cannot speak English or at least understand it. There probably are, just really rare. Hmm. Argentina. Oh, wow, dude, those are some far off country, eh? Yeah, my English is pretty impressive. Thanks, man. Well, I learned from I first learned from my grandfather, which I really owe him for that because I think I couldn't go far in life without being able to speak English. And part of the reason why I can earn some money with business is because I can speak proper English. If you guys ever want to learn a language, you have to be proficient in English first. If your goal is to get a job or maybe start a business, you can't get away with not speaking English. I mean, you probably can. Maybe just a bit harder. I don't know. That's just my experience. Yeah, it's crazy. People are like, "Oh, I am almost 20 years. I have 20 years. Oh, it's dinosaurs. Your friend? Do you think if you get the opportunity to move with your family, would you move to Japan? Oh, hell yeah, I would in a heartbeat. We have plans to move to Japan. Not soon though, because I want my kid to go to school here still. I don't want him to move to Japan without knowing his own culture, and I want him to speak my language as his first language and not Japanese. So I'm gonna wait for him to grow up a little bit and experience the life here before moving to Japan. So we're moving to Japan, just not anytime soon. Okay, these two cons are pretty much dead. I want to make him a little bit smaller, further away. But dude, Japan was just an amazing place. We both, me and my wife, soon to be wife, fell in love with it. It's so nice. People were nice. Food was nice. The place was nice, man. It's so good. Perfect mindset. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you always want to like learn your own culture. I don't want my kid to be a stranger to his own country. I wish it was your son. Man, I can't imagine having two sons. Okay, I'm sorry. He's already a handful. He runs around, and I have to like chase him all the time. What's worse is that he's starting to have friends, and they go outside. They want him to go outside, and it's like, oh my god, there are cars, and they run around the stairs. Like, oh, dude, you're gonna fall down. Like, I'm constantly worrying. So you're 16, right? Ah, you're pretty young. I'm I'm pretty old. Well, I'm not that old, but I am old. Okay, middle aged. So I have this girl with really thick hair first. You know that she's kinda shaggy. Then what when we meet her later on, when she has short hair. Quick mental math right there. Ah, it's not hard. But I grew up in the 80s. We used to it was required, well, 90s. It's required for us to do that. My grandmother used to beat me up if I couldn't do mental math. And no challenges, by the way. I'm not that good at it anymore. Don't worry, I'm 18. You don't have to worry about me. Besides, I usually stay at home and don't care about teenager stuff. Yeah. Well, I kind of miss my teenage stuff, you know? I miss them, but I don't want to go back to them. I just like reminiscing. But if I had the chance to go back, probably wouldn't. Well, maybe I would just to get the chance to buy Bitcoin. Get ahead of the curve. Hmm. Kind of want to just finish these two panels here because a lot of these are not really too worrisome. I just need to do the eyes. Here, same here, the eyes. A little bit of drawing here. You know, I'll do these big panels. They're kind of hard to do, just because there's so many things going on. But luckily, I've already sketched most of it, so I really just gonna have to go over this, and that's pretty much it for now. It'll take me some time. Some of these characters, these hairstyles are inspired by a couple of my favorite characters from multiple shows. I just kind of remember them, and you know, oh, I'll do something like that. You know, I watched this samurai anime. Well, it's a manga that was turned into a movie. It didn't have an anime. I think Azumi didn't have an anime, but there is a manga called Azumi. I think it's just a short manga. I think it was just a one shot, but it got turned into a movie. And in the story, there's this guy. I think his name was Ginkaku. Forgot his name, but he had this hairstyle. I was like, okay, let's do something like Ginkaku. Can I post it? Sorry for asking again. I had to do something. Um, Post what? Can I post my art in your community? Oh yeah, of course, man. You can join. Are you in my Discord? You should be in my Discord. If you're not, I'm going to link my Discord server. Um, give me a sec. Sorry, I missed your question. That is my Discord server. You can post your art there. There are there are channels there for that, and also if you want to me to review your work on stream, post it on the stream art section thing. It should be there. But I usually review people's artwork on a Saturday, so I won't be reviewing it today, even if you post it, because I kind of just compile them. So yeah, I would love to see your work, man. There's some amazing artists there in my server. Sometimes I'm just impressed on how much they've grown ever since I saw their first post. I don't have Discord because it's just too traumatizing for me. Why is it traumatizing? Is there something that I don't know about Discord? You're a victim and a survivor. Honestly, man, I don't know what you mean, but okay. We're gonna post it. Are you gonna show me your art then? Maybe you can tweet at me. My Twitter should be, or my X should be on my profile on YouTube. We're gonna make a video. I'm not quite sure what you mean, man. But yeah, I'm brave. I don't know. I don't care about that stuff. I'm not gonna download Discord until I'm 18. Okay, up to you. I'm not forcing you to download Discord. I'm just curious where how are you gonna do that? Cyberbullying. The predator showed me inappropriate pictures. No, that's disgusting. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's bullying. That's just outright like I think that's beyond bullying. Disgusting. It should I don't know what to say. Actually, I do know what to say. You know, if I was if you were my son, I would probably just tell you to get the fuck off the internet. Yeah. If I was your dad, I would fucking get you out of there. I would do everything in my power to confiscate all phones. I'm gonna buy you a burner phone instead. It's for emergencies. You know. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the thing is that, in my opinion, the internet will always find a way to groom people, well, groom kids. You know, if there's a way for people to message you or communicate with you, even from what we're doing right now, like I'm communicating with you, um, there's always that risk of getting groomed and be abused and shit. So I wouldn't compromise. If you were my son, I wouldn't compromise with anything. I would just get you off the internet. That's it. No questions asked. I'm that kind of dad. Okay. Um, pretty strict with my son. I don't pick him up when he falls down. That kind of situation. When he makes a mistake, I make sure he makes it right by himself. So yeah, I wouldn't let my son be on any social. Okay, here's a compromise that I'm willing to make though. I would just get off also social media. You can have the internet for YouTube, maybe for kids because it doesn't have any comments. But social media, there's always a way to communicate with you, and therefore it's a risk that I'm not willing to compromise. I'm mature now. I don't fall for those traps anymore. I learned those patterns on how they trap kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have personal um experience with that. Well, not really personal experience. Yeah, it's kind of, it's not personal, but it's close experience to that because I have a friend and his daughter died uh for something related to that. You know, got groomed in online, and unfortunately she died. Um, in the most horrible way you can think of. And she was only 15 when that happened. And yeah, her mind got really messed up with the internet. You know, she thought she had all this power because she was getting attention from creeps. And yeah, you know, your head kind of just get um manipulated to thinking that there's nothing wrong with that. So unfortunately she passed away. So yeah, she was a dear friend of mine too. I mean, her father and I were really close. um you know, that kind of thing. YouTube is not okay. It's good. It literally cured my trauma. And why isn't it okay if it cured your trauma and depression? People here are so kind and nice to me. They miss me. They care about me. They treat me like an actual friend. They respect. Oh yeah, man, it's good. Oh, that's good, man. Crazy, yeah. Me and my father, we don't talk anymore. I think he changed after her daughter died, but I still see him sometimes. You know, we're neighbors, and you know, we still with the regular head nod. Oh, hey man, hey man, and I kind of feel sad every time I see him, man, because if it feels like he's kind of deteriorating himself. You know, every time I see him, it's it's like a piece of him disappears every time I see him, and it's not a surprise. You know that happens to you. I think when you lose your daughter like that at a young age in the most tragic, most brutal way possible. Okay, almost done. Ooh. I'm kind of getting winded now. I'm a small YouTuber. I have over 20 haters, but haters are just lovers in disguise. You know what? You're absolutely right. I kind of wish I had more haters, to be honest with you. People just keep liking my videos. I want to be in the comment section fighting with people. You know? I'm just kidding, of course. What's your opinion on Gen Alpha? My opinion is that they basically are doomed. You know what? That's what my grandfather told me too. That my generation was doomed. So I don't think they're doomed. I think it's just a new world that we don't under. Well, I personally don't understand. But that doesn't mean that it's doomed. It's probably doomed in a way that's not really their fault. It's doomed in a way that we're kind of messing up the world in general, regardless of what generation you're from. Does that make sense? Because they're just picking up our mess, you know. And if you're talking about like the culture of Gen Alpha, where it's kind of more softer, a lot softer than especially my generation, right? Because we used to get our ass whooped all the time, and I'm not talking about any figurative sense here. I used to get my ass whooped by my teachers, by my parents, sometimes by my classmates. You know, sometimes from my friends too. You know, oh, why don't you climb that tree over there and then you fall off, or why don't you run on the highway and then you get ran over, things like that. You know, our pranks used to be out of this world, man. But yeah, so in terms of that, I think that's just a bell curve, right? It's just gonna go back. You know, people are gonna get harder, and then they're gonna get softer, and gonna grow up in a generation like mine, and they're gonna grow up in a generation like Gen Alpha, and then it's a cycle. Roasting roasting people. A streamer even made a video of me. Dude, that's so cool. Is it a big streamer though? Because you know nobody really cares about a small streamer like me, for example. Maybe I'll make a video about you one day. Look at this guy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. 40% of 4th to 5th graders don't know how to spell. They have the brain of a kindergarten. Dude, I remember when I was in Australia and I took a spelling test. I think I got around 65% correct on the spelling test. I'm really bad at spelling. However, I then later found out that I am within the 25% um passing rate. 75% of Australians can't spell back in say 2007. So it's been like that for a very long time. People just don't know how to spell. It's just what I'm trying to say, you know. Well, especially because English is my second language, but even like natives. Okay, so in my language, I can't spell either. I went to spell it a spellathon and get a prize. Nice. No wonder that was there for that was a sign of your that's the metric of your of intelligence for you, huh? Spelling. It's because you won one. You know what my metric for intelligence is the ability to take in sarcasm and not be pissed off about it. I kind of lean more towards emotional intelligence. When I say like, "Oh, dude, you're fat and ugly, nobody likes you." Like they know that's just a joke, right? When I say to a friend, for example, and I don't have to explain myself, or if I make a like a terrible racist joke, then they just know it's a joke. It's nothing serious, It's fucking hell. That kind of intelligence is what I revere the most. I'm about to be in college next month. That's a huge jump in my life. Nice, man. Congratulations. Not many people go to college, believe it or not. Not even the opportunity to go to college. So you're pretty lucky there. I went to um I went to college, but I didn't finish it. I didn't graduate. I didn't even because by the time that I was graduating, I realized that I'm just wasting my time here because I was already doing the thing that I was supposed to graduate to. I was already getting paid a lot of money to do it. And I was thinking, why do I even need school for if I'm already doing the career that I'm going to school for and getting paid good money for it? You know? So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do school anymore because what's the point? Plus, I was already, not to brag, but my teachers weren't that. They were math teachers, okay? They weren't art teachers back in college. I pretty much knew more than they do when it comes to art. Like, okay, this school is not gonna teach me anything. I'm just gonna go on my own and educate myself. And I got a really profound advice from one of my uncles that education today, in the age of the internet, is technically free. Everything is free. Like you can, well, learn something. You can pretty much just YouTube it, do it yourself. Know what I mean? And plus the work that I really want, which is what I'm doing now, doesn't require me a certificate or a degree or anything. Companies don't really care about that anymore. I'm gonna betray science and stick with fine arts, English literature. There you go. I've always known I was gonna be an artist. I've always known it. It was my dream job, even before I knew it was possible to be a job. School teaches me that poet like mangoes. I don't know how to pronounce them. Sorry. And rather like I'm way why I don't need to learn this. What the hell? Why do I need to learn this? Yeah. Well, there are some benefits with schools. Like it's peer pressure. You know, if you go to art school and you see everybody like they were doing their thing, you kind of get pressured into performing as well. So that's really one of the advances of school is peer pressure. But besides that, you know, if you just really work hard on it, I don't think you need it. I wouldn't be saying this, by the way, when it comes to like general education. You know, you learn your maths, you learn your English and your science and just the basic stuff things. I'm pretty sure you need those things just to function in society. And people say that math is useless. You know, you don't really. I don't remember algebra, for example. I don't remember um much of the process that I was taught in mathematics, but the point of math is not that you remember all those equations and how to solve them. The point is that it teaches you problem solving skills. And most of the world today is about problem solving. Like the industry will pay you a lot to solve their problems, right? And even people can, if you can figure out how to make people's life easier, you'll be rich. That's easier said than done, though. I'm not learning art though. I need to be in college for that. I'm completely self taught. For some, I'm self taught too, man. You don't need to be college to learn arts. I'm not sure about fine arts. I'm pretty sure you can teach yourself art without school. It'll be slower because you'll have teachers there that actually knows what they're doing. Well, if you're just doing this, you can probably get textbooks. You know, streamers like me. I'm not really sure if this is. Yeah, and what I learned about some useless knowledge that knowledge that I thought was useless is that they are actually really good for um let's say branding, right? I mean, I know about the history of Rome, for example, but that knowledge is pretty useless in most everyday life, day to day, right? I don't really talk about the Roman Empire or feudal Japan, which I also know a lot about, um, or philosophy. I like reading books like those. Um, but for example, if you're doing business, if you have a client and that comes up, right? And it's going to be a talking point for you to brand yourself like, okay, I'm that kind of guy who knows this something. If my client appreciates feudal Japan and its history, then I can talk about that, I can relate to it. And it's nice to have those general like off the cuff knowledge, just that, like it really sells you as a person to your customers because I'm actually doing art as a full-time job, and I get clients, right? I acquire clients from Upwork and other my social media platforms, mostly Upwork, and they like talking about this stuff. It's really crazy because for like 4 or 5 years when I was in the call center industry, I I was just doing all corporate stuff. I was worried about customer satisfaction, technical issues about their internet, things like that, right? And I would never in a million years would imagine myself talking about spaceships and aliens, alien samurais and pirate ninjas and freaking lightning powers, fire coming out of the hand. I've never thought about it. That would be the conversation I had with my bosses, right? It's insane. It's great, man. It's crazy. It's I really don't take this job for granted, and I appreciate every moment that I have it. I'm posting my best praise. I'm posting my best pieces on your community. They're not that good, but you can see them on and just rate them. Yeah, most history is lame. I love history though. I don't find them lame, except for probably my history, my country's history. I'm pretty lame. I was literally taught computer science and entrepreneurship in the 8th grade. I'm not quite sure we're gonna post it on my community. Do I have a community tab? I don't think I do. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I'll figure it out later. I still don't know where I'm gonna post it on my YouTube, man. I'm pretty new to this YouTube game. I just really make videos, okay? But the technical aspect of YouTube, I'm still learning that part. I'm gonna have to enable. I'll figure it out later, man. Okay, because it's gonna interrupt the stream. Actually, you know, what, let's do that now. I'll figure it out now. Hold on. Ah, it's too complicated, buddy. Sorry. Turn me on through YouTube Studio. Yeah, I'm familiar with, but it doesn't seem to show me how to do it. Go to your channel page and post gear icon and select turn on community. Okay, okay. See that? Nope, nothing here. I'll figure it out later, buddy. Sorry. It's too complicated. I mean, it probably isn't complicated, but I don't want to interrupt the stream. I'm pretty sure I can figure that out later if I really wanted to. Just chill for now. Huh, this guy kind of looks like an alien, huh? I just tag in my channel. Yeah, we'll do, man. Yeah, that'll be great. My son's about to sleep in about an hour and a half. Uh, which I need to prepare soon. Maybe in 30 minutes. Then I'll go back to streaming, or maybe just do this off stream a little later. Still playing with his mom. Ugh. Oh yeah, we're gonna add a hatching lines for all of them too. I'm basically just outlining the outline for this drawing, the line work for this drawing, but later on when I set them up on each pages, I'll have hatching lines go all over the place. Some dark aspects to it too. Like adding blacks. That sounds really racist. You know what I mean. Shut up. Did it? Okay. I'll check it out, yeah? Ah, nice. Yeah, I see it. Wait, can I show it on stream? Wait, hold on. There it is. This is your artwork, yeah? Pretty cool. This looks familiar though. Is this an OC? Is she an OC? Yeah, nice, nice, nice. But did you want me to critique it or something? Because I'm not gonna critique any artwork unless I'm asked to. Okay. So let me know if you want me to critique this thing because it really looks really good. Like honestly, especially it's traditional. I love traditional. Megumin. I think. Yeah. It kind of gives me that vibe. They're 10 pieces. Wait, give me a sec. Oh yeah, there's a button here. Ooh, look at this. Ah man, how long have you been drawing, man? This looks really cool. It reminds me of what I used to do back in the early days of my art career because I used to do a lot of these things. Yeah, my friends always used to ask me to draw them. Those kind of stuff. Look at this, dude. I'm kind of reminiscing right now. Okay, on my own artwork. Man, this is so good. I like what you did with the lips there, and also the eyes. This one's good. Is this a pastel? This looks pastel, or maybe some sort of crayon, or I don't know. Looks pastel to me. This looks pastel too. But I really love this one in particular with the eraser tool with the eraser that you use on the for the highlights. I can see that this one's really good. Well done, man. Yeah. Cheap colors? Ah, no, dude. I think it's just bad. It looks really pastel to me. I don't know if it's cheap. You don't need expensive stuff to do really good coloring, okay? But I think you should just keep going. You want to see my artwork back in the day? Because it looks a lot like yours. Um, I wonder if I can show. I probably can't show it because I'm on another Facebook right now, also live streaming, and a lot of my art posts are on my Facebook. On a private album. Nah, damn. Maybe another day. $2. That's already expensive for me, I think. Yeah, but dude, it's fine. You don't need expensive tools to to color or do cool stuff. Show it. How am I gonna show this? Hey, I'm gonna have to disconnect. I don't mind disconnecting from my Facebook. Nobody's watching there anyway. Most of my viewers are in Twitch and on and YouTube. So let's just switch that off. I'll go to my own Facebook. Um, how do I do this? Give me a sec. I think this would be good. All right, this is on my drawing book. This was. Oh wait, hold on. Whoops. I kind of exposed myself there. Where is my Facebook? Huh. When was this taken? 2010. 26. Oh no, it's 16 years ago, man. Dude, 16 years ago. Can you see this thing? Okay, you can. This was 16 years ago. Can't believe it. Well, I posted it 15 years ago, but even 2010. 2010. This was my like high school stuff, right? College stuff already. This is my friend. I don't know where she is now, right? And yeah, this one's my favorite. Um, Lightning. When was this? I usually date my stuff, but this was also in 2010. Man, I used to draw really well with traditional pencils, eh? But I just drew this with a Mongol pencil. It's like really cheap kind of pencil. Do you want to know what I used for that portrait? You'll be shocked. I used normal pencil and black pencil color eraser, and a flat tip whitener. Nice. Yeah, well, that's how you usually normally do it, right? I did this with these paintings too. But dude, I didn't. I don't. I can't believe I drew like this back in the day. I mean, it's so much better than what I'm doing right now. I'll be honest with you. This thing. But the thing is that I copied this, right? I just copied this from a picture, and I probably can do something like this off the top of my head right now without copying a picture. Maybe I can't. I don't know. I haven't tested that yet. I think this was a request of one of my friend from college. It's still 2010. Some of these are older. Okay, I just posted this on 2010. Oh, this was I think this was Otada Hikaru. This was an artist, a Japanese artist. I did a portrait of her. That's me. Look at that Giga Chad, right? Um, this is also a portrait of a popular Korean celebrity. But yeah, I used to look like that when I was a kid. Yeah, I used to have this long hair, anime hair. It was really popular back in my school. This was Nell, a realistic portrait of Nell from Bleach. Some buildings, I like drawing those too. Some of my old OCs. Damn, I haven't seen these in a long time. I think I still have the paper somewhere tucked in somewhere here, right? But yeah, this was already 2011. I still have these on my somewhere hidden in my files. Um, so if you remember, if you see this, I actually copied this digitally on my very first tablet. I will just show you later on. But yeah, those were some of my drawings. I think I have a few more. I'm currently exposing my Facebook. That's fine. There's some more portrait stuff. All right, look at this. This is Kiki, one of my closest friends back in high school. I kind of miss her actually. It's pretty cool. Um, I think this one is a celebrity again. This too. I forgot. It was 2009. Yeah, I can't. I couldn't be drawing this in 2004, so it should be 2009. Oh no, it's 2011. Okay, yeah. 2011. I can't see the date there. Oops. Some buildings again. Some, of course, you gotta do some bikini stuff. Some of my OCs. I'll show you one more. Okay, one more album. And this is my digital artwork stuff. This is where I posted. This was my very first drawing on digital. Ah, shit! Something in my throat. So this was my very first drawing. I could not figure out why it was pixelating a lot, and I figured out that you gotta have a big canvas, right? And I was just drawing in a small canvas. That's pretty much it. And this is my second attempt at that. I still couldn't figure out why I was pixelating. When was this? 2012. 14 years ago. Some of my OCs. This one, if you catch my old drawings, I just traced it. Yes, this is what I used to draw back in 2012. I was starting to do some rendering, some blending here. See this thing, yeah, some experimenting with metal textures. Uh, Concept design stuff. This one I love. I still love this one. I can't believe I drew this in 2012. Because some of these are really cool. I mean, this concept of the whale and this spider looking thingy. I think I might actually bring these back, in my storyline. That could be cool, right? I was watching a lot of Feng Zhu back in the day, so I had a lot of concept design stuff. So I wanted to be a concept designer so badly. So I kept practicing and I keep doing this. You'll see more of that. See, I just rendered this one. I remember drawing this and I could not finish it because my tablet broke down. Drawing rendering of a monster, 2012 still. But some of these are pretty cool, and some of these are not pretty cool. Some concept art stuff, you know, just experimenting, shipbuilding. Yeah, this is my evolution pretty much. I think back in 2012, 14 years ago. See, these are really cool. I really like this concept. I'm gonna bring it back. Thumbnailing. This one's heavily inspired by Wireframe. Dude, I was already rendering like this when 2013. Why am I not rendering like this anymore? Because I could not figure out how to get rid of the line work and how people drew without line work. I saw a lot of Wolof. back in the day, and this guy's just sketching, right? He's not doing any line work, and I was trying to figure it out, and I did this rendering inspired by Warframe, and I don't think I ever finished this thing. I wonder where this file is now, right? It's probably lost within the archives of my computer. Did you take a break? Well, what do you mean? Am I not on the stream anymore? I'm still on stream. Oh. Take a break from art? I did take a break from art when I was homeless. See, like this rendering is really good. Like, why am I not rendering like this? No, I'm just kidding. And I do render like this. I'm probably a bit better. But the thing is that I don't render like this all the way through my art. And I kind of mix it up a little bit. Um, this was 2013. Okay, 2013. The more concept art stuff. See, I'm already trying to get into a more cleaner line art. I think the problem with these is just the design. It's too busy. There's no place to rest your eyes, and anatomy too. I mean, this her stomach is way too low. This is some more concept art stuff. I really like the design of this character. This thing with a gun. So I'm just speechless. That's how good the art pieces are. Well, this was back in the day, right? I've definitely improved quite a bit since then. And that should be it for like my art stuff. Do I have any more? I don't. I probably have some more, but you've seen most of it by this point. Can you guys give me a sec? I'm just gonna grab some water. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. So those are some of my old artwork from all the way from 14 years ago. Um, Man, it was really fun reminiscing about those old art pieces. I haven't seen them for a while. Excuse me. Bro, I have a friend who is an artist, and he looked long and he took a long break when he returned to art. He could even draw a simple circle properly. Never ever take a break. Your situation was different, though. I'm your top fan. Well, I did take a break when I was homeless, though, and that was about say what was it, 2012? 4 years. 4 years of no drawing, just doing call center stuff. And it wasn't even until 2020 when I got my first real art gig. So okay, I'll tell a bit of a story while I'm drawing. Yeah, just to get the stream a bit of noise. So um, back in 2013, when I told you I was homeless, I'm not sure if you were here when I told that story about me being homeless. I got my first job at a call center. Well, it wasn't my first job. It was my third job at the call center. Right, right. And I worked in that industry, not necessarily the same company, for until 2016. I quit because I was already freelancing. But it wasn't art gig. It was more like a graphic design gig, which is art adjacent. And so I did logo designs as a freelancer in Upwork. I still do a little bit of that back in 2016. And I realized that my salary of being a freelancer and my salary of being a call center agent was already matching and then sometimes even exceeding my salary, right? So I was really hating I hated my job, that call center. Okay. So I literally walked out mid shift, and then I just sent a resignation letter like the next day, right? I walked out because I was so tired. I didn't want to do it anymore. So I took a risk, quit my job, and I was a full-time freelance graphic designer, logo designer. And then that then evolved into brand identity design, which I did that for about a year or two, freelancing my own stuff, um, hiring other logo designers, just trying to be a bit more productive. And then I did that until 2020. I think it was 2020 or 2022. Either way, let's say it 2020. Okay. I got my first real art gig because I was already drawing a little bit here and there, but it was nothing serious, right? But in 2020, I got my first art gig, which I'll show you as well. This is already published in Tapas. Unfortunately, it's not finished because of the budget of my client. I work with an author translating their novel into a web comic. Okay. Give me a sec. I'll show it to you. So this was my very first serious. Give me a sec. Hold on, one sec. Let me just remove this here. So this was my very first real art gig, and this is how I used to draw. Okay, this is a web comic called Fire the Fifth Sun. You can read about it on Tapas. And yeah, this is how I used to draw. So I got this gig for about a year and a half, and it paid really, really well. Okay, really good. Like I'm talking about. I'm not gonna disclose my salary, but it was so good. And so I quit my graphic design work and just made that part time. Okay, I wasn't full time. Actually, give me a sec, guys. My son is here. Just give me a sec. I'll be right back. Okay, I'll continue the story in just a bit. Sorry about that. So yeah, again, where was I? So my salary was really good. So I did this for over a year and a half I, until the clients decided to stop doing it because of again budget. Um, so because of this project, I had about a year and a half worth of portfolio that was built up for me to be able to get my next client similar to this, right? Let me just show you the rest of the page. So yeah, I didn't really draw that well. I wouldn't consider this really good. I'm actually redrawing this story in manga form now. Okay, I'm redrawing some parts of this, which I'll show you the difference. Okay, I'll show you the difference between how I used to draw and how I'm drawing it now. Where is it? Give me a sec, man. It's really annoying. Okay, so this is a recreation from that manga. So there's the characters here, right? This guy is basically just this guy. So I'm recreating this pretty soon. You are not a normal human being from my observation. You are freaking nah, 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 nah. Look, if you've seen my peers, my art would just it'll be just trash. Okay, be out there creating masterpieces in 2000s when I was just 27 days old. the, we're, I'm just older than you. That's pretty much it. Okay, you'll be creating amazing stuff once you're ready to. But yeah, this was my first really real art gig, and then I got another gig because I was able to make a sizable portfolio, a year and a half's worth of like drawing this. Okay, and I got really efficient at drawing pages that my next gig didn't really require me to work. Well, it wasn't as heavy as this, and it allowed me to have more time to actually draw properly this time. And that was this project here. Let me just show it off again. So I'm a bit disappointed. Well, I'm not really disappointed for the most part, but um yeah, this project here. God damn, why does it always open on my other dead monitor? I have a dead monitor right here, and every time I um open an image, it opens on that monitor. And I don't want to close it because I can still use it from OBS, so it's not really completely dead, okay? Give me a sec. Where is it? So it was this project. Okay. This is Soul Arms, the spaceship finding spatial dragons, and this thing, that thing. And yeah, I did this right after I did Fire of the Fifth Sun. And yeah, there were a couple more. Projects just kept rolling. Clients just keep coming, and yeah, and I did a couple of mangas here and there, and it's been good so far, man. That's my origin story and how I got into this. Did you underestimate yourself? You're the same person. Well, I recognize that I'm good at art. I think at this point it will be very arrogant for me if I say that I'm not good at art, right? Because clearly I have some skills in it. Um, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't say these are masterpieces. This oh crap, man. Photoshop is bugging up again. Yeah, that's a little bit of my work. There's a couple more. I did some illustrations for cover photos and also some illustrations for myself. Do you want to see a what I would consider a masterpiece, though? Oops, I'm not showing my artwork again, am I? Okay, I am. I'll get rid of the sketch for now. I already know what they're doing anyway. I don't need it. Just that part. Excuse me, sorry. You're underrated? Bro, can I tell you something embarrassing but silly too? Yeah, of course, man. Up to you. But I love embarrassing stories. When I was three, my mom gave me pass to eat, and then I was like, if I can't eat them from the mouth, a pass to eat, a piece. Okay, from the nose. So of course I shoved them down, pressed inside my nostrils, and they got stuck. We even went to the hospital. You shove piece in your nose. That's pretty embarrassing. I'm pretty sure it hurt. That kind of reminds me of a story that's kind of similar. We kind of pranked one of our friends in science class back in high school, something like that, right? And I also remember I was sitting on the stairs wondering if chickenpox was spicy or tangy. Yeah, have you ever had your chickenpox? I think everybody gets it, right? I mean, I had it when I was really young. I'm around 9 years old. It was terrible. I remember it as if it was a traumatic experience. Man, I'm not really good at hands, but he's supposed to be holding this bowl thing. Okay, we're gonna redo that again. Okay, that looks so much better. I didn't get it. I guess I'm lucky. Well, the thing is, well, I'm not sure if you had a. I think there's a vaccination for that, but I believe a good percentage of humans get it at some point in their life, right? So I wouldn't say, I wouldn't count yourself out yet. Ah, that's okay. That's good enough for me. My brother got it when I was too severe. I think your English is okay. It's fine. I understand what you're saying. All right, man. I guess I'm gonna have to end the stream now. I'm a bit tired, to be honest with you, and I'm pretty happy where I'm leaving this off because I got really well into these two big panels here, and I finished this big panel. And most of these are just really details. They're not much to do. So tomorrow, I only got one, two, three, four, five, six small panels, and two big panels to draw. I'll also fill these two up, and if I have time within the week, I'll make two more pages, just to get my pages going because I'm really excited to get this going, eh? I don't even mind spoiling it for you, but it's like a it's like her origin story, which I'm really happy I'm doing this instead of picking up my original drawings. Um, I'll show you that too because I think I want as many people to see it, and know what I'm talking about. You know, where is it? Oh no, that's not it. Here it is. So this is the manga that I submitted um on Kodokawa's World Manga Contest. Can you actually see this thing? Yeah, you can. Okay, good. Where is my chat? Well, take great care of yourself and remember an amazing friend. Thanks, man. Well, I'm not leaving. I'm just stop drawing really. And if you want to stay in chat, so these are my pages that I'm currently abandoning. Well, I'm not fully abandoning them. I'm just moving them up to a different chapter. But this is a complete story. Well, complete story. Yeah, it's complete chapter one, right? It introduces a lot of characters. I love this panel. There's like a lot of things going on. This it introduces Senor Nestor, which is a pseudo anti-hero kind of person. And here comes my action pieces. Lots of foreshortening shots. It's punched and whack. Drop kick. Right? And another drop kick. Um Flip kick, I guess that's what you call it. And she gets caught again with this rope. And this is my magic system now. Which again I'm trying to shoehorn into this page, which feels really forced, to be honest with you. But yeah, well, I'll share more of this later. I've talked about this obnoxium, um, really in an obnoxious level. But I'm gonna go now. I'm really tired. I need to take some rest, and I'll probably get back streaming tomorrow if I have more free time. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, man. You guys have a nice day. W.